Welcome back to another episode of the 49 Carats podcast, or as we so fondly like to call it, the 49K pod. This is episode 12. Thanks for tuning in. We are live, so hopefully some more people are hopping on because we love talking to you guys. Steph, how you doing today? Well, I'll introduce myself first. I'm Angelina, if you don't know, but let's get to the important person. Steph, how are you today?
I'm feeling good. Like I said here on the board, we made it to week 1. It's finally here. Pretty soon we're going to have real actual games that count to talk about. So
I can't believe it.
Feels very good.
This seemed like, and I have been a fan for a very long time, this seemed like the longest off season ever, probably. What do you think?
Oh, by far. By far. Oh my gosh. And there's still so many things that people have argued about to this day, from like the end of last season to now. 49ers Twitter takes no breaks,
Yeah, and a sign that the season is upon us is that 49ers fans have stopped arguing amongst themselves, and they're now arguing with Seahawks fans. All is right in the world. Nature is healing. The NFL season is back, and we're going to get into that later this episode in our Twitter tizzy. But we're going to kick things off as we always do with This Week in 49ers History. So on September 5th, 1994, and I think that was 17 years ago? Something like that. I'm not a math person. I think that's correct. Jerry Rice, the GOAT, surpassed Jim Brown as NFL's career touchdown leader in a game versus the Raiders. He caught 2 touchdowns and had 1 rushing touchdown. So shout out to the GOAT. That was a little fun fact. Steph found that one. So good job, Steph.
I mean, that's incredible stuff. Like, I just feel like we keep talking about how awesome Jerry Rice is. Like, I don't think there's anyone who's coming close to passing that guy up.
Yeah, and we're just so lucky that, 49er for life. So shout out to the GOAT. Let's hop into some news. There's a lot.
There is a lot.
As with any team getting ready to start the season, there's going to be a lot of shuffling and bustling.
There is a lot. And, because last episode we were talking about rosters and trying to predict what was going to happen. So this week we get to talk about what actually happened, right? So right before the team announced their cut to the 53, they did trade away linebacker Jonas Griffith and a 2022 7th round draft pick to the Denver Broncos in exchange for a Broncos 2022 6th round and 2023 7th round picks. What did you think about that, Ange?
I'm all for getting draft picks where this has been a time where we've lost a lot of draft picks, especially trading up to 3 this draft. But I do think, depth at the linebacker position on this team is always going to be important. So it was it was good, but it was bad. It was a risk.
Yeah, it was a little bittersweet. I mean, the fact that Jonas Griffith he was an undrafted free agent. So to get any value for that is pretty good. And they were so stacked at linebacker. He probably had a uphill battle to go. But anyway, back to the cut to the 53. Richie James, as we'd mentioned last week, he was placed on IR. So now he reverts back. Well, actually, they'd cut him, and then now he's reverted back to the 49ers IR because he cleared waivers. Maurice Church Jr. and Devontae Harris, who had originally made the 53, had been placed on IR. Since then, Devontae Harris, as we know, has been cut. Dante Johnson, he was cut, then signed, and then cut again. And that was to make room for cornerback Josh Norman. So that was kind of exciting. Did you have any thoughts on that signing?
I mean, yeah, this was someone that everyone expected to make the roster anyway. So I think we saw a lot of rejoicing for a good dude and a good player, getting the shot that he deserved.
Yeah, and just on Josh Norman, he's a first-team All-Pro in 2015. That was back with the Panthers. He spent last season with the Bills. He's now 33 years old. So to me, it feels like more of, adding that veteran presence, but also cornerback has been definitely a concern all through the off season. I'm not sure. There's not a lot of depth there. So, the Norman signing, takes care of that a bit. So with the Bills, he had 344 snaps across the 9 games, 23 solo tackles, 1 interception, and 3 pass breakups. So, it's not terrible. He has some left in the tank. Hopefully, he won't have to start many games for the 49ers. I mean, they do still have Emmanuel Mosley. Mosley, as some of you might know, has been dealing with, some injury. So, it's possible we see Norman on Sunday. I'm not sure. But back to the roster, they also added 17 players to the practice squad, including our favorite River Craycraft, Travis Benjamin, Nate Sudfeld, Tanner Hudson from the Bucks, just to name a few. And then Sean Coleman was placed on IR. Michael Kendricks was released from IR. Let's see. And then today, linebacker Nate Gary signed to the practice squad, and Corbin Calbusi was cut from the practice squad. And I mean, we got some injury news today. We had some good injury news that Trey Lance is no longer wearing his splint on his finger, and he threw some passes, which is pretty notable. There is some hope now that, he could play at least a bit on Sunday. But those that haven't been practicing, Jalen Hurd, Emmanuel Mosley, Kevin Givens, and I think Javon Kinlaw as well. Today, Kyle Shanahan said that Hurd is a candidate for injured reserve. Let's talk about Hurd for a bit, because what's going on with that guy?
Disappointing news. And granted, it's like short term, so it would be 3 weeks.
Yeah,
which it can be good because I know they were going to be easing him back into playing anyway. So maybe this will give him some more time to fix whatever was going on the past couple weeks. But I mean, to see him take a roster spot as someone who is injury prone and continues to be injured, and to hear this is just not encouraging at all. It's the last thing that you want to hear, especially when there's only 53 spots and he got one of them, despite only playing in 1 preseason game.
Exactly. And this would be his 3rd year in a row on IR.
Yeah.
Not great, Bob.
Yeah. Who's Bob?
I don't know. Just thing to say. But
just a little Steph saying.
Not great. Not great.
Yeah. That was, is it bad that, obviously I was disappointed to hear that, but I wasn't shocked. I was like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
That's the thing. At this point, I don't think any fans are surprised. They're not surprised. They're disappointed to hear this news about Jalen Hurd. And at some point, you just have to wonder, how long can the team continue to do this without, thinking about other options for Jalen Hurd,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, if it's just short-term IR, we'll see what happens. Hopefully he'll get some playing time and we'll finally be able to see what he can do. But if not, he has a uphill battle for sure.
Hopefully he does come back from this injury and balls out and we'll just be eating crow.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I would love that. Yeah. Please prove me wrong.
We got a question. Do we want to talk about that from Dawson?
Yeah, this is a good question. Why did they even draft? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Why am I say it in unison? No, you
Why am I even reading? Why did they even draft Jennings if they're keeping Hurd?
Well, they also drafted Hurd.
Yeah, I mean, and Jennings is on the roster as well. So
yeah,
I mean,
they definitely needed, even with what they already had, they needed to address it in the draft, and they didn't even address the position like people thought they should have. I know people thought they should have taken a wide receiver higher, some people. So, but that's a valid question.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think if this keeps up, they're going to have to make a tough decision on Hurd. And
yeah. Best of luck. Let's move on. We predicted the 53-man roster in our last episode. If you missed it, right? That was our last episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Felt
Really?
like a while
Wow.
ago.
Time flies when you're having fun. We got some things right, of course, with 53 roster spots.
Of course we did.
You're bound to a few are bound to stick to the wall. But obviously we were wrong on a few things. But some notable roster moves that, one roster move that was notable that we actually got correct was that they were going to go with just 2 quarterbacks. Do you think that's going to bite them in the butt given this Trey Lance broken finger, even though he was throwing today?
No, I don't think so. And
they can always bring up Sudfeld.
Yeah, exactly. And actually this week, one of the protected players, so I guess every week you can protect some players from practice squad so that no one can poach them away from you that week. And one of those players this week was Nate Sudfeld. So right. I think that was
thinking about it.
Exactly. I mean, I think that was just to be safe in case Lance couldn't go. I think he'll be okay, but, they always like to play it safe. So, we'll see what they do.
Yeah. They also went with just 3 tight ends, Kittle, Dwelly, Warner. Did we go with that, or did I convince you to throw Pruitt in there?
You convinced me to put in Michael Pruitt, so I did.
That wasn't me. That was Patricia.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by that. Really, I think
no, not at all.
Those are 3 strong tight ends.
Yeah. It makes sense. So another big surprise to some.
Yeah,
not to me. I mean, this was what I wanted to go with. They went with JaMychal Hasty over Wayne Gallman. And we know that Gallman was picked up by the Falcons. I'm also hoping to pick him up on my fantasy waivers because I think he could slide into the RB3 role there in Atlanta. And
even second, I think.
Yeah, it's not a crowded backfield at all. So that'll be good for him. Good for him because
yeah, exactly.
For many, this was surprising. What do you think?
Right. I think, good for him. Like you said, he ends up in a good situation. But yeah, I think I agreed with you on that one that I wanted Hasty over Gallman. I mean, he absolutely balled out. I think Hasty would have been one that someone would have claimed off waivers had they done the opposite. So overall, like I'm pretty happy with that. Now we'll see if Jeff Wilson, he is on the PUP list though, right? So yeah. So we'll see when he returns if they do something with Hasty. We'll see.
Yeah, it depends on how much he's used and if he takes advantage of it during that time before JWJ, our sweet prince, returns. So
our Gucci Prince,
our sweet Gucci Prince. God, I miss him. Need him back. Need it. So on the O-line, they went Tom Compton over Colton McKivitz and Dakota Shepley. And we saw Shepley was claimed by our arch nemesis, the Seahawks.
Happens every year.
About Tom? Yeah, right? They're little poachers.
I mean, I don't think a lot of fans were happy about this one. And I could see maybe Compton over McKivitz, but Shepley, I think he was playing pretty well. And, he got claimed, so others agreed as well. So I don't know. I'm not sure what they see in Compton as much. Maybe there's something there that they see that we're not. Could be a versatility thing. I don't know. Hopefully, we don't have to see him play too much.
Yeah. Well, knock on wood, because we know O-line depth is something that is a concern on this team. And I mean, obviously the Seahawks saw something in Dakota that the 49ers didn't see. So let's hope that doesn't pay off for them, not in our favor. Right. Devontae Harris over Dante Johnson.
I mean,
and we know the story with this. I mean, we already talked about it, but
we already saw how this played out in your
TikTok?
Kyle Shanahan and in my TikTok in Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's office. So
yeah. So maybe they knew this was their plan all along, to release DJ and then sign him back. Obviously, Elijah
Release him
Sullivan
again,
was
sign him
lost
back.
in the process. There were a couple of casualties, but it all worked out.
I mean, but they cut Dante Johnson today, didn't they? Or no, was that yesterday?
They probably did.
I
Did
thought
they?
he signed on the practice squad.
Yeah,
And then
he signed
oh
on the
yeah.
practice squad Tuesday.
Yeah. See, I can't even keep up. There's that
Yeah,
poor
it's
guy.
back. I was like, wait, no,
That poor
really?
guy.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like
but
he
it
had
worked
just
out.
finished packing his stuff, and they're like, "Can you come back?" Maybe that should be my next TikTok. Hey DJ, we need you to come back.
Dude, just packing his bag, unpacking it, packing it again.
Poor guy. He should just sneak some things in, leave them there, so he doesn't have to keep leaving.
Yeah.
I don't know. That sucks.
And then on the D line, they kept 11 defensive linemen. And I mean, if you have the depth, you might as well keep it, right?
Yeah, I think that was definitely something they were thinking of. Like, they didn't want someone to poach any of their defensive linemen. I think if I were any of the other 31 teams in the NFL, I would be looking at the 49ers and seeing who they cut there, because I'd pick them up immediately. So
Right.
I think the 49ers didn't want that to happen. And in this case, I think they were right to keep 11. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you don't want to benefit your adversaries. Anyway, I can't pronounce words. So let's talk about the ones that got away, a la Katy Perry. We talked about Wayne Gallman a little bit, but is he one that got away? Like, do you think this is something that the 49ers will regret?
No, I mean, not really. They're always deep at running back, so I don't think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree. I don't think he's necessarily one that got away, but I think he was definitely contending for a spot, and he'll probably have success this season, but I don't think it'll be a regret. We talked about Dakota Shepley. Shout out to Real One. Don't do well in Seattle. We don't wish you well, unfortunately. Do you have anything you wanted to add about him? Is he one that got away?
I think so. Like, I think he was playing well enough that one might come back to bite him, especially because he went to the Seahawks. But, fingers crossed, maybe, they feel good enough about the depth they have.
Yeah. So one that is a little disappointing, especially now given this Hurd news, is Webster. He was a good returner, and to have a roster spot taken up by someone, a receiver who is now hurt per usual, it's a little disappointing, and that's got to be tough for him to hear. So he was claimed by the Bears. Is this one that got away?
We're talking about like players that are, way deep on the depth chart anyway, but I think he could have added some value. Receiver is a place that we see a lot of injuries happen, as we've seen with Hurd. And Debo, I keep saying, but but I don't know. I think they still have Travis Benjamin.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. If we're worried about returns.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. Damn it.
Yeah. And then
I used your punchline there.
It is what it is. And then linebacker Justin Hilliard, claimed by the Giants. He had a good first training camp, but like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of good linebackers on the team. So
there is. I feel like this one is one they somewhat regretted. I mean, not regretted because it's something you had to do, but that one hurts a bit too, because I feel like they would have liked to keep him on the practice squad.
Yeah.
It happens.
And we got some, it happens. It is what it is. You got to start finding me. I mean, that's the only
like a
solution.
Jar.
A cuss jar. So we got some new team captains in the house. My favorite part of the year, personally. Who cares about starting quarterback? Who's going to be captain? Because that just steers you. It can steer your season one way or the other,
Absolutely.
No, but on a serious note, captains are important. They're obviously the leaders of the locker room. So we got Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, linebacker Fred Warner, tight end George Kittle. None of those are surprises, especially since we'll get into in a minute the news that was announced today. Offensive tackle Trent Williams, safety Jimmy Ward, defensive lineman Eric Armstead, and running back Raheem Mostert. Mostert can't talk today. We know who he is. The Heem. Cool. So any thoughts about the captains? I mean, what can we say? Great choices.
I mean, it's the veterans on the team. It's kind of nice to see players like Warner and Kittle, who they drafted just what feels like a few years ago. They're now the veterans and team captains, and by no surprise. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say about captains, like you said. It's just they fun. Go out for the coin toss.
Yeah, it's just fun. Like nothing gets me more hyped before a game than seeing the captains walk out there. Like those are the men. Those are the guys,
especially in playoff games.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know why. Like something about that.
It's like back in the medieval times when like they would like meet in the middle before the battle would start. That's what it reminds me of. It's my little nerd coming out. So obviously Jimmy Garoppolo is a captain because he is the starting quarterback, as he pretty much confirmed today. The saga is over. How many months have we spent arguing about who's going to start? Since April.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, the wars were waging even before the draft on whether or not Jimmy should be the starter. Lo and behold, our opinions mean nothing per usual. Like, it's not a surprise if you were listening and if you took Kyle at his word, which a lot of us didn't. So good for Jimmy. I hope he balls out on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why anyone would be rooting for Garoppolo to fail. He's part of the team. If you want the team to do well, don't you want the quarterback to do well too?
100%. 100%. And I mean, there's always the argument to be made. I believe there was a quarterback competition. I believe Jimmy Garoppolo won that quarterback competition. I think if Trey Lance came out and like did all of these spectacular things that, you've never seen done before, or, just blew the competition out of the water, that would be the case. And I mean, obviously he's changed with his finger injury, but I'm sure if he earned a starting position, he would be starting. Now, some say he wasn't given the chance to earn the starting position, but, be it as it may, Jimmy was the guy, just like they said. I don't know how many months ago it was, last year, that Jimmy is our guy. So Jimmy is our guy. That's what this episode should be named.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, he's a week 1 starter, so we better love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Week 1. It's week 1. We're here.
Holy shit. It's week 1.
We made it. We made it. So what do you think? You got a score prediction against the Lions?
Wow. Okay. We're just going for it.
We just throw out some numbers.
So a lot of people are like, they're gonna blow them out, and I think they'll win, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I'll say that. Maybe they win by 10, 13 points.
Okay.
Is that good enough? Is that like
that's not a blowout, but that's a nice win.
It's a nice win, and I am because I'm terrible at like predicting scores, so I'll just leave it at that.
I don't think anyone is good at it. I don't think there's really a way. I mean, obviously there is, but I don't know. Usually when I predict a score, I'm just like 24-21 Niners. Let's go.
Just throw some numbers
and maybe it'll be right.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I think if they came out week 1 and won by 2 scores, that would be. They should win by 2 scores. But I'm gonna throw in Kyle Shanahan's week 1 history into my
I'm
prediction,
glad.
and they're still going to get that dub, but the offense isn't going to be as potent as we might expect from
No,
the offensive mind of Kyle Shanahan.
now, why do you think that is?
I don't know. So if you don't know what we're talking about, this was a conversation on Twitter today that Kyle Shanahan does not have much success week one. I know that the stat was thrown out there by Vish on Twitter that in his 13 week one games, offense averages around 19 points per game. So I don't know. Part of the homer in me was like, it's because his playbook is so complicated that they just don't have a grasp on it by week one. But I don't think that's valid.
Yeah. This is probably another homer conspiracy that I have as
We're
well.
homers.
Is
It
that
what it is.
is that like he doesn't want to show too much of his new stuff or too much of his playbook so early in the season, especially if he feels pretty confidently that they should win, which I think this matchup against the Lions, against a new coach, I think he's going to feel pretty good going into it.
That is a great conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and everyone is dying to see what they're going to do with Trey Lance. I think it's going to be a snoozer somewhat. I think they're going to just run the ball a shit ton. I think even if Trey Lance plays, it's just going to be a bunch of handoffs for him.
Yeah. We need Brad Graham in his tinfoil hat right now. Kyle doesn't want to show it all week one, losers. That's why he's lost more week one games than he's won.
It's all strategy. Come on. Don't you know that?
That's funny. Oh my gosh.
But
so,
I was going to bring up, because Jordan, friend of the pod, Jordan Elliott,
of Niners
cousin
Nation.
Of Niners Nation, he tweeted just right before we went on. He said, how important is a week one victory in the NFL? Of the 633 teams that won openers, 333 went to the playoffs. Of the 632 teams that lost openers, 151 went to the playoffs.
So it's you're almost double as likely to win the Super Bowl if you win week one. Is that correct?
I mean, I do the math.
I believe it. It's such a short season. This sport has such a short season that every single game matters. Like, it's only week one, but when you only have, this year's 16 games after that, that's 1/17 of your season. So
right.
Wins matter.
And week one really sets the tone for the season, whether you want to believe that or not as a fan or a player. So if you lose, you're already, playing from behind, and that just isn't a good feeling. Or I don't know. I think it sets the tone.
Yeah, we talked about how this seemed like the longest offseason ever. Every offseason seems super long, and everyone, fans, players, coaches, front office, all that anticipation of the offseason is placed on that week one game. It's like make or break. So I totally believe that it does make an impact on how the rest of your season goes. And like you said, it definitely impacts the mood surrounding the season. So here's to hoping for a week one victory. It should be that way. So we talked earlier about how Trey Lance was throwing today. Do you think we see him on Sunday? How many snaps do you think he gets? 0, 5, 10?
I say something around 5.
Okay.
3 to 5.
I don't think we'll see him.
You don't think we'll see him at all? So do you think he'll be active?
I think he'll be active. I don't think they're gonna do that. I think if he has to go in the game, he will. But I don't think they're going to unnecessarily put him in the game. Like if Jimmy G gets hurt, God forbid, we don't want that to happen week one.
Yeah.
I think they would rather go with Trey Lance than Sudfeld.
Oh yeah. I mean,
as the backup, for week one, given everything we just talked about how important the first game of the season is. So I think he'll be active, but I don't think we see him until next week.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they'll possibly? Well, yeah, I guess they won't have 3 quarterbacks. So if Lance is active, Sudfeld probably not even elevated.
Because at the very least, like, he could go in there and hand off the ball or run it. If he can't throw that well by Sunday, which today it looked like I heard he was throwing 20-yard passes at least. So that's some pretty good trajectory down the field. So we talked about Jalen Hurd, and he's an IR possibility. Emmanuel Mosley and Kevin Givens all have injuries. Brandon Ayuk and Dre Greenlaw were back Monday. Do you think injuries are gonna play a role in this game?
I mean, I hate to say it because it's week 1. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for Mosley, and he's your second corner. So that's in for a position that, we already had concerns about. Not great to see, someone hurt in week 1.
Right. And especially a hammy.
Yeah, those can linger. So I guess I'd rather them not rush him back. So
yeah, so I guess we'll see. He could be out there. We already talked about the practice squad protections, right? Benjamin, Sudfeld, and
yeah, we mentioned Sudfeld, but yeah, or was it Benjamin that we mentioned?
Well, let's just mention all 3 right now: Travis Benjamin, Nate Sudfeld, and Virgin. They will not be taken away. And I mean, that makes complete sense given the injuries that we just talked about. Yes. There you go. Those are their backup plans. So fun, super fun. Week 1, resorting maybe to some practice squad homies.
Do you think that we see Ayuk returning punts?
I don't know. That's the big question, isn't it?
They put him as the punt returner on
He's
the
number 1 on the depth chart.
Yeah. And then Sanu's second, which is also like, really? But
like, I mean, we'll see. I would love to see it.
I would too.
Let's see what you can do. Let's do it.
Oh,
but don't get hurt.
Yeah. No, I think he would do well.
Yeah. This is someone that is, I mean, from the one season we've had him, seems to be a little bit injury prone. So I would, yeah.
You think he's injury prone?
Not prone, but he's had injuries, So I don't know. Any extra workload makes me nervous, but also, yeah, I'm like that meme. I would like to see it. So
absolutely, yes.
Let's see it. Do it. D Ford is going to be on a pitch count, a snap count. What do we think? Love it.
See,
he doesn't need to be overworked.
See, I don't know, because I don't know if it was someone said he might be on a pitch count, and then Kyle Shanahan, either today or yesterday, he said that he wasn't going to have a pitch count for Ford or Bosa, and it's really dictated by the personnel groupings. It's almost like having a pitch count without actually having a pitch count, because D Ford usually is in on obvious passing downs in, where they're rushing the passer. So, and that isn't every snap anyway. So I think it's good to know that he's not going to be on a pitch count, but I don't think he's going to play that many snaps anyway.
That's so true. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's interesting. Why does he need to be on a pitch count if he's not in every play anyway?
Yeah. So
yeah. But I guess maybe if the 49ers exceed expectations and just come out and blow Detroit out of the water, it'll loosen the workload for everyone, and those guys that are injured can just take a hike.
Right.
Wait, rest.
Now that I think about it, did you give us a score prediction?
Yeah, I said 24-21.
Oh, okay. I thought you were joking.
No,
just like, oh,
that's it.
Okay, all right, okay. Wow.
It's not gonna be right.
You think it's going to be a really close game?
Yeah, because that's why I said that, because Kyle Shanahan isn't that great week 1, but we'll
Okay.
see. I saw someone
Yeah.
ask, they said, what do we
Scary.
do when Goff outplays Garoppolo?
Oh my God, that would be terrible.
But I'm like, also, if we think that they're going to run the ball a lot, that could be a given, but it doesn't mean that the score is going to be reflective of the quarterback's performance for each team.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I feel like Jared Goff, like the 49ers defense has kind of had his number, even in games where like it's been close with the Rams, like Goff always looks very frazzled. And being that Dan Campbell's a new coach, there's a lot of new pieces on that offense, and I don't know. I think the 49ers defense, to me, they look better than last year. Well, aside from the corners, but with a better pass rush, you give your corners, less time that they need to cover, which results in them looking better. Just naturally.
When you have a good defensive line, everything else on the defense kind of usually falls into place after that. And PFF has Detroit's O-line ranked 10th entering 2021. So, we'll see if the defense eats them up.
Yeah, their O-line, I'm glad you mentioned that. Their O-line is not that bad. They have their 7th overall pick from this year. And I wrote the pronunciation down so I wouldn't mess it up. Penei Sewell. So he's gonna have his hands full. Bit of a welcome to the NFL rook moment. I'm sure he'll have a few of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I think they'll match up well, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game. Anything else about week 1 that you wanted to talk about? We talked about who's going to be returning kicks. Will we see Trey Lance? How they match up?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, on the defense side, just really quick for the Lions, did you say what they were ranked?
Nope.
Okay. Last year they were ranked 32nd in DVOA rankings. So they were terrible.
Yeah.
Like
they were terrible.
Bottom of the barrel. So and that's why I think so. They have good edge rushers, but that's about it. I think the 49ers, with all of the like misdirection that they do, a lot of pre-snap motion, I think they'll be able to counter some of that a bit. And just like the threat of Raheem Mostert when he's healthy, and it's week 1, so we know that he is. Like he's really good. So I think this is going to be a big Heem game.
Yeah, my fantasy team hopes so. No one cares about my fantasy team. I know that, but I just God, I want to win so bad. Just once. Speaking of week 1, you reminded me of week 1 last year and Heem's big run. Man, I would love to see that again on Sunday. Need it back.
I would not be surprised.
No, of course
just
not.
Say that. I also think we'll see a bit of Trey Sermon as well.
Oh, yeah. God, there's so much to look forward to. What a time to be a Niner fan.
Our next episode, like next Monday, is going to be fun. Like, I can't wait to talk about the game. I'm so excited.
Need it now. Need it to be tomorrow. At least Thursday Night Football is tomorrow. That'll keep me satiated till Sunday. So speaking of fantasy, let's talk about some fantasy outlook week 1 for our 49ers players.
All right.
Who are the must starts, Steph? Must-starts, Mostert.
Wow, you kind of predicted one of my must-starts there, because I do have Mostert as a must-start. I also have Kittle. I think he's one of Garoppolo's favorite targets. He's his security blanket, and for good reason. So I think he'll have a good game. Also, Debo, just for the fact that I think they'll be running a lot, and I think they might have some trickery, some little trickeration going on with Debo. But I would sit Trey Lance for this one for obvious reasons, for all the things we've mentioned. He's nowhere close to having a big enough role to start quite yet. What about you? Do you have any
I'm starting personally Brandon Nyuk. I think he'll have at least one touchdown on Sunday. If all the stars align. So
I can see that.
That would be big. And I would sit Trey Sermon if you have him on your squad. I think Heem's going to be getting most of the carries on Sunday. I know a lot of people drafted Trey Sermon.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to have a good year. I truly believe they're going to be 1A, 1B. We've seen the Niners kind of do that in the past, with like when Breida was on the team. But I agree. Like I don't think Sermon is going to get that many touches quite yet.
And if he does, I don't see him like having any. I don't know. I'm just not predicting like huge things from him like we usually see from Raheem on week 1.
Well,
if that makes sense.
So I think
it's always a possibility.
I think Sermon will see a lot of snaps, especially like if it is a run heavy game, and especially if they're in the lead quite early, and
that's true.
Let's say they have a pretty big lead, we might see Sermon. But to your point, like I don't think he's going to be startable in any league. Maybe a 16 league super flex situation, but other than that,
or if you have no one else.
Yeah, that would be terrible. In week 1, you probably didn't draft very well if your only running back is Trey Sermon. But yeah, I would probably sit him this week.
Yeah. Great analysis. Also, to my fantasy teammate who tried to trade me Trey Sermon for Najee Harris. Get wrecked.
Straight up.
There was more involved, but trust me, it was an attempted murder, attempted homicide, and I knew just because I'm a girl doesn't mean that I don't know when I'm getting fleeced. Okay.
There's always that one person in the league that just tries ridiculous trades just to see who will fall for it.
Yeah. Not me. Not this day. So we'd love to keep you guys updated with our fantasy teams as the season moves along. All right. So cap or no cap, everyone loves this segment, and we didn't really have anything today for cap or no cap. So we wanted to revisit some of the past cap or no caps that we may have misinterpreted.
Yeah.
We may have gotten wrong. We're holding ourselves accountable. And one of those is when I'm like, wait, did we get it right? Because I'm thinking one cap or no cap we did was when Kyle Shanahan said that as of right now, Jimmy is the starter. And I feel like we kind of said like half cap, half no cap. And that was like last week or the week before.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to find some old ones that we've done. Let's revisit. So do you want to the Jalen Hurd one, that was last week or 2 weeks ago. So something. Yeah, I don't remember what we said. So yeah, it was Kyle says nothing has changed when it comes to his previous comments about Jimmy being the starter. And
we both said no cap, I think. I know I said no cap.
Yeah. I just know I've agreed with you. Like we've agreed with each other like every time.
The other one that comes to mind is actually, I'm laughing because we were going to hold ourselves accountable, but oh my God, we're actually like not bad people. The other one was when Kyle said there's no quarterback competition. And I said cap, but I still believe that was cap. I still believe that there was some sort of competition. And like I said earlier, I believe that Jimmy G won the competition.
Yeah. So I did say cap to that one as well.
So
maybe this isn't Maybe this isn't a holding ourselves accountable. All of a sudden, it turned into a patting ourselves on the back.
Beating our chests. Cap clean.
Just so all you viewers know or listeners know, we've been right.
Yeah, we've been new.
Trust us.
Keep it up, big trust. So Twitter tizzy. Oh God, yes. We touched on this at the beginning of the episode a little bit when I said that 49ers fans and Seahawks fans were arguing. And this is something we love to see. Well, it was a Seahawks blogger that originally tweeted that the 49ers are the worst team in the NFC West.
He said that like this week, right?
He said it with his chest. Yeah. Yeah. And we know before the drafts and before some of the signings that the 49ers did, even friends of ours said that they could possibly end up being the worst team in the NFC West. And I think a lot of people were placing that on the quarterback situation, which they still have the worst quarterback in the NFC West. That's
fair.
That's a fact. That's fair.
That's fair.
But they don't have the worst team in the NFC West. And anyone that's saying that is just being a goddamn troll. Honestly, I mean, come on, that's bait. You're just looking for people. You're just looking for engagement, lad.
It's true. And I mean, he, as a Seahawks fan, that's what you do. The 49ers, like you said earlier, arch nemesis. So it's going to get you likes. It's going to get you retweets, some quote tweets from 49ers fans.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll end up on freezing cold takes, in some months. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
right?
no, I mean, I wholeheartedly disagree that they're the worst team.
I just want, as long as Cliff Kingsbury is the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, they are the worst team in the NFC West, and no other questions.
What a shame, right? Because otherwise they would be so scary.
Such a talented offense.
They are scary, but it's like
you don't know what you're going to get.
But you do know that Cliff Kingsbury is the coach,
right?
And that's just that's all I need to know.
Mess it up, yeah.
That's all I need to know.
That's all the analysis you need. Who needs the X's and O's, the tape? It's just Cliff. It's just Cliff.
What a guy.
That does it. This is our last episode before the 49er season starts. Do we want to make some record predictions before we head out?
Oh, for the season? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta see, because I gotta pull up the schedule. And I gotta...
Dude, why did I do like an Irish accent 5 minutes ago?
I don't know. It's kind of cool.
I liked it. I'll have to incorporate that a little more.
It was kind of cool. It was
okay.
Lad. Oh my God. Okay. Here, do we want to do that thing where we share? Although
I'm not gonna be able to see it.
Oh, you won't?
I mean, I might. You could try it. I can just pull it up on my phone.
This is also true. Okay, let's share the window. All right, so looking at the schedule here, week 1, I think that's a win. Week 2 against the Eagles, that's a win. Week 3 against the Packers. Ooh, I need your help on this one. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna say dub. Oh wait, is it in Green Bay? No, it's at home.
No, and it's Sunday Night Football.
It's a dub.
That's a dub. You're right. Yeah, oh my God, dude, Levi's is gonna be electric.
Yeah, it's gonna be disgusting.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be the NFC Championship game all over again.
Okay, but get this. So week 3. So we've got 3 dubs, okay, and then we get to week 4 and we play the Seahawks. I say that's a loss because we're gonna be whirling from that, that win from the Packers. That it's just, gonna forget all about the Seahawks.
No matter the year, no matter the season, no matter the players on the team, it's always a tough game.
Yeah,
they are at home. They do have that going for them. So I'm starting the season 4-0.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you said 4-0. I'm
I
saying
don't know,
3.
dude.
I'm
I
saying
don't know.
3-1 at that point. So
I could see
I
them
think
being
they lose.
3-1, but losing to the Packers and beating the Seahawks more so than losing. I don't know, dude.
I think
sticking with it.
I think they'll lose one of those games.
Yeah.
That fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll stick with 3-1.
Oh, so okay, you're okay. So you agree.
I'm gonna agree.
So 3-1.
Because I'm like,
says
the Cardinals.
Ange says they'll lose one of those games. I say they'll lose to the Seahawks. Week 5 against the Cardinals. That's in Arizona. I think that's a dub too.
And I hate that I'm second guessing myself because I only switched my last answer because I'm like, they're not gonna start 5-0. Like that's too. I don't want to make that prediction because I'm just gonna be let down. You know,
bad juju.
Yeah.
So
we
okay,
got 4-1.
We got 4-1. So they go into the bye week 4-1. Then
hate that early bye.
Yeah, that's kind of brutal.
Rude.
Although maybe after that we can start looking at like Trey Lance. Maybe that's a perfect time for him to start ramping up a little bit more. Some people even said like week 3, maybe that's when you want to get Trey Lance going a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to use that card quite yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 4-1, and then week 7 versus the Colts. DeForest Buckner revenge game. You see, it's a dub. Okay, I do too. I don't think Carson Wentz is that great.
Yeah.
But
there's no way they're gonna win all these games, dude.
You don't think so?
No, there is. It's just like I hate being like so optimistic. Like it makes me feel dumb.
Because then it hurts later when it doesn't go.
Well,
it
just makes me feel like a dumb homer that's like, yeah, they're gonna beat them and them and them. And it's like really.
But realistically,
barring
like
injuries,
realistically, like I feel like they could. Week 8 at Chicago Bears Halloween game. I think that's a dub too. So what do we got? Are we 5-1?
7-1?
Is that 7? Yeah, 7. No, because we have a bye week, so it's 6-1.
Well, that's sorry, I can't count.
So 6-1, and then week 9 playing the Cardinals again. This time at home. That's a dub. I say we sweep the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, and we're losing week 10.
Yes, that's fair. I think so. So week 10 is against the Rams. That's Monday Night Football, and that's at home. So you think we lose to the Rams at home?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a heartbreaker, given the history of the offseason.
All right, so 7-2. 7-2 at that point. Then week 11 at Jacksonville. Easy dub.
You don't believe in the power of Lawrence?
I mean,
savior of the Jacksonville.
I think he's great. I just think
not enough to.
Yeah, like they're,
they picked first for a reason.
They've got they're going to have some growing pains. It'll be a while before they're able to compete against a team as good as the Niners, which I think they'll be good. So what do we got? So I said, was that 9-2? 9-2. No.
9-1. That's their first losses against the Rams.
No, it was either Seahawks or Packers. So
okay, 8-2.
So 8-2 at that point, and then they're home against the Vikings. Ooh,
this
Kirk
is a
Cousins.
toss-up.
Kyle Shanahan's long lost
love
of his life.
Could see them going into a little 2-week slump here.
Really? Oh, yeah. I just saw the next game. No, I think I think they beat the Vikings.
Okay.
I think they beat the Vikings. So, and
love that prediction.
Yeah, so you think they lose to the Vikings?
Yeah, I'm gonna say loss.
Okay, so you have
8-3.
8-3. I have 9-2. Okay. And then so week 13 at Seahawks. See, I think they'll lose the week 4 game against Seahawks, but I think they'll win week 13. And that's Sunday Night Football in Seattle. Can you imagine? Okay, so you're the
lit. Yeah.
All right. So do you think they might lose both games against Seattle this year?
No, I think see, it's tough. I see them beating Seattle at home and losing on the road. But then I also said that they're going to lose to either Seattle or Green Bay.
Yeah.
Both those games are a toss-up.
So I'm just trying to be optimistic and say that they'll win at least one against the Seahawks this year, but it's the Seahawks. I completely see it being possible that they lose both.
Okay, yeah,
I
can see it too, but I'm going to say they're going to win
it.
at home and lose on the road, and then I think they're going to lose to the Packers.
All right. And then so then week 14 against the Bengals, I think that's a dub as well.
Dub in the book.
Terrible offensive line. Week 15 versus the Falcons. I think they'll win that one as well.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Week 16 at Titans. That's Thursday Night Football. So on a short week. I think that might be one of those games that they lose.
I think they're going to lose to the Titans.
Yeah. but not because the Titans are better. It's more so one of those games, like uncharacteristic games that you kind of just drop.
Yeah.
Short week. It's a trap game, you know? I think that's one of those trap games. And also, you're flying. Oh, yeah, 100%. And you're flying to Tennessee.
Yeah. Who wants to do that?
Who wants to go there? I would actually go. I would love to go to that game, actually, but it's by.
I would actually love to go there. They're going to beat the Texans.
Oh, yeah. If possible, like 5 times in one game, like if that were even a thing. And then week 18 at Rams or in LA. Also would love to go to that one. You think that one's a dub? You think they lose the first game at home and you think they win that last game in LA?
Yeah.
I think so too. I like I like that one because to me that last game is going to have a lot of playoff implications.
Oh yeah.
And I think gross. And I think the 49ers are going to come out on top. So I can't wait at the end of the season when we revisit this prediction that we're making. And by the way, I completely lost count, but I think I had them losing like 3 or 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. I think 4. So I think 12-4 is my prediction.
3, 4, 5. I'm 11-5. Wait, no.
Okay.
12-5.
Wait.
Because there's 17 games this year.
Oh shit. You're right. That's so weird. Okay, so then then I have them at 13 and 4. Yeah. Going optimistic.
Those are both good records.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Fairly decent records.
That'll
we'll see how everything plays out. We'll see how everyone else does. We'll just see. We're just gonna see. All right. God, an hour already. What time flies when you're having fun. Ain't that the truth? Thank you everyone so much for joining us. This was episode 12. We're gonna be back next Monday. We don't know what time yet, but we'll let you guys know. We're going to have a lot to talk about from week 1 and hopefully discussing the 49ers' first victory of this season. You can find our podcast on all streaming platforms, wherever you listen to pods. And again, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace out.